This week on The Modified World, we go out to the Las Vegas desert and hang people from hooks. That's right, so stay tuned. So, welcome to The Modified World, the weekly web show about body modification, the people who do it, the people who get it, and why it matters. I'm your host, that f***ing guy from Pangea Piercing and the fellow who brought all the internet wackiness to the masses. I'm JC Potts, and this week we went out to the Nevada desert, super picturesque surroundings, so that we could hang people from hooks. That's right, a lot of fun. You know, I always enjoy the whole suspension thing. I hope you people appreciate the shit I go through to bring you guys quality content. I am now hiking down the side of a f***ing mountain whilst vlogging. Whoa, son of a bitch. This is scary. I don't even know what kind of f***ing rock this thing is. It's weird. It's like eroded sandstone. But I digress. You know that I get a kick out of geology and other types of weird scientific endeavors. But one way or the other, you guys ought to see this shit. Now, do I look like the type of person who enjoys the great outdoors? I'm wearing a tie, for crying out loud. We had our friend Steffi Von Hunter Thomas and her posse out with her daughter, and one of their family friends.
I was just joking. I said I feel like I just kind of woke up in some weird dream because I'm in this cove in the desert somewhere with all these awesome people. And Dave Navarro's my bio person. What the hell?
That's just how we roll, dude.
Like, I'm like, Scotty, don't beam me up yet.
But Steffi and her daughter were doing resurrection suspension, which is actually a pretty hairy one. You know, you're hanging from hooks in your stomach. Plus, it was still a bit of an intense situation because we'd gone to the desert to be able to shoot the whole thing with Sampa and Anita doing their blood painting tribute to Shannon Lorette. Of course, if you haven't seen that video, you ought to check that one out. But we had gone out there to do that, and so emotions were still kind of running a little high and whatnot, and it just seemed to be kind of a perfect transition for us to go ahead and walk on from where Sampa was doing his painting and go on up the hills where there's a beautiful little spring, naturally spring-fed, coming out of the wall. Set up a zip line and started hanging each other, and it was nice. You know, there was a bunch of people out there that I knew already. Some people I only knew from the internet. People like Orb and Dave, who I, you know, kind of recognize him from the internet, and Dave from TV, but I hadn't actually hung out with him or anything like that. Orb's a nice guy. He's so busy, though, that I didn't really have much of a chance to talk to him. Dave, on the other hand, though, if you've been paying attention to the rest of my social media feeds, hit it off with me like we were old friends. Well, or at least like guys that went to school together that haven't seen each other in a while. Dave did a 10-point Superman. That's right, like, woo! Like from 10 different hooks all on his body. And he took it like a boss, too. Pretty impressed because honestly, you know, you never know exactly what to think of people that you don't really know. You know, you get an impression on how somebody is based on, you know, maybe their art that they produce, or maybe the social media stuff that they do, or, you know, the TV shows that they work on. And so, of course, you know, everybody behind the scenes, or I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people behind the scenes over at conference this year were all like, oh, f***ing Dave Navarro, oh my God, what's he doing here? Blah, what a tool, what a douche, all this stuff, when they hadn't even talked to him. Not only that, but hell, you saw half those people posing for pictures with him later on, which is kind of lame if you ask me. But honestly, the guy's really nice, man. I'll tell you, I've met a lot of rock stars in my day, lots, and they come in two varieties. One, the guy who's totally too cool, who's, you know, he's not interested in you and your shit, and he expects you to kiss his ass. Then there's the other style. There's the guys who are more like Dimebag Darrell, who are like, you know, super accessible and super friendly, really nice, and genuinely trying to be cool and helpful. And that's really more how Dave is. I know he catches a lot of criticism for being involved with a tattoo show. Well, I actually sat down and watched his tattoo show, and it's not bad, actually. It's not scripted. Believe me, as somebody who produces videos, I can tell you when something is scripted. And the tattoo artists on there are not. I can tell you that. His is, of course, but hell, I think it'd be kind of sad if you had no idea what you were going to say before the camera started rolling. Then you'd sound more like what we do, because I have no idea what I'm going to say. As soon as the cameras start rolling, I just start talking. That's why sometimes I say some crazy shit. Thank God I have an editor. But it was cool, though. Everybody went up, everybody went down. Everybody's been staying in touch with each other and having a good time with it all. So, well, that was my show this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, or at least were somewhat entertained. You know, I give out swag every now and then to engage subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you be sure to, so that you don't miss any videos. And leave me a comment in the section down below. It lets me know you're paying attention. Plus, I love it because it makes me feel like you actually care. Yeah, that's right. And of course, if you support what I do, and I know you do, go ahead and give me a share on your Facebook, your Tumblr, your Twitter. That's right. And be sure to stop back by next week for yet another episode of The Modified World. Wah, 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 wah,